Hi, buddy. I'm Tasha. This is Soul. You want to say hi?
Yeah.
No. He's just breastfeeding. So, a little bit about me. Let's see. I'm a mommy of two, and I'm pregnant with my third baby. And this is going to be my first fully vegan pregnancy, although I did go vegan 4 years ago after my first child was like 10 months old or something. I fell off for a little bit with my second because I went to the hospital. So anyways, a little bit about myself on that topic would be been vegan for 4 years. This pregnancy is going to be fully vegan, and I also do unassisted birthing. So no midwife, no doctor, completely natural. There's no need to go to a doctor for me and for many others that are in the top healthy pregnancy areas, I guess you would say. How there's like a scale of if you're healthy, you have like a healthy pregnancy or a healthy body. I don't know. I don't even know what the term is. Okay. But basically you're in the statistics where you're going to have a healthy natural birth or a healthy birth period. So for me, there's no need to go to doctors. There's nothing that they can tell me that I can't tell myself or that I do not know myself. And a lot of my friends that I talk to that have been pregnant recently, they've started to awaken and talk to me about it, and they're like, yeah, whenever I go to the doctors, they don't really tell me anything I don't already know. You know, if you need to eat more of this or of that, or you need more iron, one way to check about iron is you could check your insides right here, your inside of your eyelids, to see if it's red. If it's white, you are low on iron. That's a nice indicator. I don't remember where I learned that from, but anyways, so I have a breast YouTube channel called Sexy Spiritual Tasha Mama, which I might be changing back to Spiritual Tasha Mama because of the new terms on YouTube that are driving me nuts right now. But yeah, we advocate full-term breastfeeding, which means we breastfeed until the children are ready to stop, until they're ready to wean themselves off, rather than kind of the way that women have been doing it, I would say pretty recently, since mainstream media and all that jazz came out with formula and, you know, making breastfeeding unglamorous and a drag and a pain in the, and making it more convenient for women to use baby formula, which we're also, oh sorry, is my hair wet? We're also coming out with a raw vegan baby formula. It's going to be called, what is it? Honestly Pure. It's going to be a vegan breast milk, coconut milk, fruit infused baby formula, which the world is definitely calling for right now. That's exciting. And then another thing, I got a lot of questions on, you know, being pregnant and on a vegan diet and breastfeeding and on a vegan diet. I'll tell you guys something kind of funny that I thought was funny. Are you done? On Jessica Alba's Honest website, once upon a time, I couldn't find it anymore, but I did find it, and I was sending it to some of my co-workers or people that were working with me to produce the baby formula. It was saying to be careful with milk consumption because the animal proteins can go through your breast milk and into the baby's body. And then she also sells animal cow titty juice milk baby formula for children. Does that make any sense? No, it really doesn't. It makes no sense at all, at least to me. I think anybody logically, that makes no sense. So it was really interesting that she was advocating that, because I thought that I was like, yeah, she's vegan. She knows about animal proteins and how unhealthy it is. But no, it was just kind of like, it was just interesting to see it, that it was on her or on her page. It was really great information to know that, yeah, when you are eating animal proteins and milk from a cow that's made for a baby cow, not meant for a human, just as much as, well, you want to eat a peach? Yeah. Just as much as baby duties. He's supposed to be sleeping, but he took a nap in the car. But just as much as dog milk and giraffe milk and cow milk is not for humans, neither is cow's milk. And for our babies, obviously, the most perfect, amazing food that we could ever be fed or feed our children comes directly from our beautiful bodies. And what better way to feed our bodies the food that we thrive on, not survive. We can survive on Cheetos and donuts. We can. But are you thriving on Cheetos and donuts? That's the question. I'm opening it for you, baby. No, you want to eat it like this? Here. I'm sorry. Here. You want to eat it? I'm sorry, there was a bite in it. It was a caca. I had to clean it out. So I'm going to be reading your guys' comments as I'm going, just because I was struggling to nurse my second baby when I couldn't produce enough for him. I had a supplement with goat formula because I didn't know what other options I had. Yeah, so the formulas right now, there's goat, there is soy, but at the same time, like, I wouldn't advocate any of the formulas that are on there right now. Something that my friend did do, and I am not a doctor, so this is going to be purely on intuition. They gave their baby coconut milk, so they took the water and the coconut, blended it up, and added spirulina for about a week to help supplement the milk. His name is Ben Cohn. I don't know if you guys know him. He's from Hawaii. He was raw vegan for a while and a vegan chef. So that's an option. I am so excited for this other baby formula to come out to help mothers during this, just because, you know, I can't exactly say that nutrient-wise that it's the best thing for your baby. Or I do want to say that it's going to be better than goat milk or soy milk or cow milk, just because that stuff is just not meant for us. Soy milk is highly processed. You like your peaches? And yeah, or herbs you can take. Okay, so yeah, there's herbs to help the flow of breast milk and stuff. A lot of what I like to advocate is the power of your mind. So I do get a lot of women asking, how do I increase my flow? How do I make more milk? Before I get into that, there is I'll type it on. It's human milk for human babies. Human milk for human babies. And it's all for, I don't know, I just typed it in there. humanmilkforhumanbabies.net. It is a network of women that have come up with no costs, no prices, but women around your area that help each other when you need more milk, when you need a pump, when you need a wet nurse, anything. My vision definitely, if we go back in time a little bit, not even that far, when we're living in communities or when we were actually knew our neighbors, or maybe you do, maybe you don't, but I don't know if you've noticed, especially in America, the government has definitely worked to separate us, so we count on the government rather than each other. But my vision is definitely for women to help each other wet nurse. Wet nursing is when when you nurse somebody else's baby, you know, if they need help or they need a break or they need to go to the store or they need more milk, or you can pump for each other and stuff and reach out to each other. So, Kelly, yes, it is possible to do both simultaneously. It's called tandem nursing. So they sit, he's going to be able to sit up and, you know, hold his own, but I definitely will have to hold the baby to nurse. Sorry, I just got a shower, so my hair is all crazy. But I've heard of this tribe in Africa where when the woman cannot, the men can start nursing the babies. I don't know their names is, but I thought it was cool. Totally. Men have, and I've made a video on my YouTube channel about this. People went nuts. They're like, oh, you're so dumb. But yeah, men have all the same ducks and everything, and they can totally nurse. You just gotta let it happen. You gotta let it flow. And right now, I do see a future with men letting go of how we look, letting go of the stigma, letting go of the taboo, letting go of all the BS. Go wash your hands, baby. Go. Go wash your hands. It's okay. And nursing children, for sure. That's, how awesome would that be too for men? Men talk about wanting to have that bond with their children, and yeah, it is a bond. It's a beautiful bond to be able to look into your baby's eyes and just the skin to skin, the holding, the coddling, the nurturing. It's amazing. What? You got to move the chair over. You got to get down and move the chair over so you can reach. So he's 2. So he's just a little guy. He's just kind of figuring stuff out. But what else about breastfeeding? I do get a lot of people. He's on green and fruit smoothies now. Oh, what were you saying? I have some better. Struggling to come up with the 2 sentences for my 4 and 1-year-olds. Oh my gosh, vegan food for your kids. So smoothies, I think you already said that. Smoothies, mono fruit meals. They love spaghetti. You just make a red sauce, and I use rice noodles, and then I either add in spinach to the top of it or organic. I always add greens, something raw with cooked foods to help it digest. You can do rice with, you cook rice and then you chop up a yam and you put that on top of the rice, and you can add avocado, you can add a side of beans, you can add cilantro. I always add iceberg lettuce, lemon, teriyaki, aminos, coconut nectar to sweeten it up. Oh, they go crazy over that. I have a bunch of recipes on my Instagram. I'll put that in right now. It's at Tasha Maile. You can do pancakes. You just blend up oatmeal and either water or almond milk with bananas. You can add cinnamon, pour that with maple syrup. Bam, they love that so much. You can make a mac and cheese. You boil potatoes, carrots, onions. You add maybe nutritional yeast, garlic, lemon, salt, mustard flour. Okay, you can get another one. And they love that. They always go to fruit. My kids would be fruitarian day in and day out if I had fruit all the time, except for my older one. He's rice and beans all the way. But the secret to it is the coconut nectar. The coconut nectar and the aminos or teriyaki aminos that flavor it is just, oh, so yummy. 1 second. Some other recipe ideas. You can do, instead of peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, you can go poo-poo? Okay, let's take your pants off. Come here. Sorry. You can do banana, you can slice up bananas and put peanut butter or almond butter in jelly on the bananas instead of using bread. You already pooped in there? Ew. I'll change it after. And then, let's see, it's just, the thing with picky is like, I don't really let my kids be picky. That's a thing. Oh, you can do oatmeal with banana and maple syrup, or and add dates and coconut sugar and stuff. It's delicious. It's super good. I sweeten all of my food with coconut sugar or coconut or coconut nectar. Usually kids are pretty, every kid that I've ever had here is pretty keen on it. So check out my Instagram if you need more recipes. But I wouldn't really let them be picky. You just say, okay, well, if you're not going to eat it, then you're not hungry. And eventually they'll start eating when they're hungry, especially if you know that it tastes good. But giving in to their, unless you're doing like all fruitarian or something, giving in to them. I have people that are like, well, my kids will only eat pizza and grilled cheeses. It's like, because that's what you feed them. So yeah, maybe be a little bit more like, okay, well, you either eat this or you don't eat. And then eventually, if they're actually hungry, they will eat. I don't know. It's worked for me for the most part. Sometimes I go to bed hungry, not often, but usually the coconut nectar helps a lot, with me at least, and with my kids. I think it'll help with you. Maybe you should try it out. But maybe we can connect and talk about it after. I'm sorry. Hope anything I said helps. Back to breastfeeding. So a lot of people say, oh, it's open for Q&As right now too. If you guys just want to ask questions, I'll start answering them like I have. But a lot of people have said with breastfeeding, like extended or full-term breastfeeding, they'll be like, well, if you, and you can tell that it's all kind of unconscious agreement. You know, when people just kind of spit out what they think, not necessarily what they know. But speaking on like, if you let your children breastfeed too long, they'll become super dependent on you, and that kind of direction of speaking, which is really interesting because it's actually quite the opposite. When you're a child or a toddler or kid and your needs are not met as a child, you start in your root chakra, which is survival. And once your needs are met, you no longer have to survive. You go up in chakras. If you look at our, oh, that's better. If you look at our society right now, a lot of people are actually still in their root chakras. They're still in survival mode because a lot of people did not get their needs met when they were children, whether that's emotional, physical, mental. And the great part about breastfeeding is it feeds emotional, physical, and mental. And let me say one thing. If I know that there's an exception with mothers that could not breastfeed, and I understand this is not taking a jab at anybody or anything. This is just speaking on what we have come to know and how to better it for the future, for future generations. Basically, so now, if you cannot breastfeed right now, hopefully, you know, you can get on humanmilkforhumanbabies.net and find women around you that are producing enough milk and give them breast milk. And when you are feeding them, you still want to hold them and look at them. And I know for me with my first baby, I was giving him formula after 3 months. It's a long story. I got sick. But I did get lazy, and I was like, all right, here's your bottle, and then go do stuff, whatever I need to do. But what you really, really need to do, and what children really, really need, is that closeness. It's the breastfeeding situation happens on purpose. It doesn't so happen to be that your boob's attached to you and you're holding your baby and looking at your baby and cooing and coddling and touching and talking to your baby on accident. It's on purpose. We need that as children and babies in order to move up. So how do you get started on a good YouTube channel? I actually watched a video called How to Make Money on YouTube. There's a lot of them, and they're kind of all in the same same realm. I know I saw. They're kind of all in the same realm where it teaches you, you know, pick a niche, decide on what you want to do, stick to that niche. For me, a friend had a breastfeeding channel and she told me, hey, I get paid this and this much money a month. I think you'd be really great at doing it. It's fun. You just show breastfeeding, you talk, spread awareness. And I was like, I can do that. That sounds really cool. And I love sharing and talking to people and inspiring others. So it was really exciting for me. So I definitely say to find what your niche is. And it's not, YouTube isn't for everybody. It's for anybody, but it's not necessarily for everybody. If you don't want to sit there and film and edit and it's just not fun, it doesn't sound fun for you, then do something else. There's many ways to go about things. There's Instagram, there's Facebook too, and there's other ways other than social media. But chakras, you have a chakra system. The earth has a chakra system. Anything living, I'm not sure about plants, to be honest with you, but animals, we all have chakra systems. They're just energy centers. If you understand, if you don't understand chakras, it might be helpful to look into them yourself, just because there's so much information on it. But as far as chakras go, it goes on a much deeper level, that everything's energy, and everything, like this is energy, the water's energy, the walls behind me is energy, my hair is energy. All energy has a frequency to it, it has a vibration to it. It has, it's the same with your chakra. It's like your root chakra, your sacral chakra goes up, your throat chakra, your crown chakra, your whatever, heart chakra. They all have things that are connected to it. So your root chakra is survival, your sacral chakra is your will, your heart chakra is your heart, your throat chakra is your throat, your, what's the other one? I don't know, in your crown chakra, it all has to do, it all coincides with like certain emotions, certain things going on in your body, certain, like it all ties in. I don't know that much about chakras, but I do know on like the root chakra and the sacral chakra and the heart chakra and the throat chakra, just because I've worked a lot on it and I've had like dis-eases happening one time in my sacral chakra, and I was bleeding out when I was going to the bathroom, and I was holding a lot of stress there. And I just looked into like some meditations and how to open your chakra and how to clear your chakra. And I wanted to see like what there's emotions linked to each chakra. And we have emotions that get blocked in our bodies. And there's just so much information on it. I highly suggest you look into it if you're interested, because this is really cool stuff. But vaccination and pediatrician. No pediatricians. Unless I am to find a vegan pediatrician or a vegan doctor, which I haven't. And for me, we are our own gurus. We are our own doctors. There's nothing that a doctor can tell me or a pediatrician can tell me about my child that I don't already know. My kids got croup before. I looked it up. I healed it with essential oils. I made a video on YouTube and I actually almost got sued for that, because you can't say that you healed something with oils. You can't say that you healed something with essential oils because it's illegal in the States. So that was pretty funny. I was like, cool, tell them to sue me. I'll take them up on it. But they figured out a way to go around it. It was doTERRA. They called me. But, and vaccinations, definitely not. Once you see the ingredients in vaccinations, it's kind of like, basically, the way that I started to live my life was through my feeling center. When I had my first, I had him in the hospital. When I had my first baby, I also started to give him shots. And on the second round of shots, we had to pin him down while he's screaming at the top of his lungs. And my heart hurt. I was bawling. He was bawling. And I went out of the room after, and I was with my mom, and I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I got to do more research on why not to vaccinate. This is hurting me. Not only is it hurting him, the whole rest of the day he's just weird, pissed off. I don't know. My baby's 2 months old, and he's unhappy because of these shots and just not eating, not talking, not playing, not being himself. So that was an indicator to me to be like, maybe there's another way. I don't really fully agree with this. So I stopped vaccinating. I believe that we create our world through our thoughts, through our belief systems, through what we put out is what we get back. So I have affirmations on, I believe that if anything's going on, I will know what I need to know when I need to know it. If my children need something, I will know it. And when people offer me things or give me advice or tell me things, rather than dismissing it or accepting it, I play with it. I'm like, okay, that's interesting. And I'll look into it and I'll feel it out. Like if somebody gives me advice on something. For vaccinations for my cousin, she does homeopathic vaccinations. And my naturopathic sister-in-law, she does homeopathic vaccinations too, which I think they did it through the tongue. Yeah. You want to eat it? Okay, I'll give you a plate. They do ones that are on the tongue or under the mouth or something, and that's cool. That's awesome. I was all for it. Like, it's okay, baby. It's like you do you. But for me, it just didn't. I was like, yeah, I don't feel like my kids need. I feel like they're very, very strong. Their diets are amazing, and they have what they need. That's just what I believe. And yeah, same with the things with herbs. You can definitely treat. There's some of the plant. If you understand pharmaceuticals and medicine in the pharmaceutical landia, they take plants and they take out. So my naturopathic doctor sister-in-law explained this to me. They take out parts of the plants and then they make that into a pill and then they patent it. Because to take a plant and patent that, they cannot own a plant. You cannot own a plant. You can ban it, but you can't own it and sell it. So they take parts out of it, not realizing that our bodies work best with the whole plant. So herbs, some people are a little bit skeptical. Yeah, but if you knew what medicines and stuff are made out of, they're made from plants. They don't take the whole plant because they cannot make money off of taking the whole plant because you cannot own a plant. You cannot own nature. So it's really, really interesting to know that. And so I definitely use herbs and essential oils and the plant kingdom in our diets and sun and water. I know, I gotta change your poop. We do, right now we're doing Kangen water. I had a friend come with Tyant water. It's ionized water or distilled water. And I feel like water is such it's an essential for sure. To be drinking pure, clean water is just, I've been drinking for like 6 years and I definitely know that your health does start with water for sure, for sure. So, Susie, you're not the only one that believes in it. We believe in it too. Susie, the smallpox and all the other diseases and all that shit, what happens is when people get their hands on the knowledge of fear. So basically, I'll just say they, because people always say they don't know who they is. The FDA. They know that when they scare people enough that they can control them, that they can make them buy the flu shots, that they can make them buy vaccinations. And now you see, we have these brains and these bodies and these feeling centers. We have a guidance system inside of us that tells us truth, that undoubtedly undoubtable truth. And that's our intuition, and that's also our heart. There's a video, I'll type it in, spirit science heart on YouTube. I highly suggest this video. It explains to you how your heart is an actual brain. And it's the only true voice we will ever have. When we use these minds, these egos, this mechanism up here, it's like, oh my gosh, this, oh my gosh. But does it actually go off of truth? No, it goes off of past experiences. So if you're only going off of past experiences, oh, because this and this happened to Sammy and Joey, they got smallpox because this and this and this, then I have to do that because then that's going to happen to me. So that's just all this like chaos. And to get out of the chaos, you got to get into your heart. And your heart is a thinking brain, and it will tell you what the truth is. So I urge you, with any questions you could ever ask, to ask with your heart rather than your head. The head can go in circles and circles and circles, and it never ends. I've read somewhere that lavender essential oil can disrupt hormones in baby boys and cause some problems. Have you heard this? I know lavender. You know, the FDA will do anything to get people to not use plants and the power of plants, just because once people start figuring that out, where's the money for them? Like, where are they going to make money? They make money on fear, and they make money on selling prescriptions, and they make money on doctor visits. But, you know, everyone starts figuring out how amazing nature is and how amazing plants are, and that we actually have a relationship with these things to be able to cure ourselves. Then we no longer need these doctors who are studying medicine, doctors that study medicine and surgery, not plant medicine, but pharmaceutical medicine, to write prescriptions and to cut out limbs and body parts and cut off limbs and body parts and organs. That's what they go to school for. They do not go to school for nutrition. And so people saying that lavender can disrupt, I mean, too much of anything can disrupt anything. You can eat too many papayas in one day and throw up because your body's like, all right, I don't want any more of that. With children, you do want to dilute it in coconut oil or another carrier. I always use coconut oil. I can show you. 1 second. Oil? Soul like loves this oil. I don't know why. But I got a little tub. I put a ton of coconut oil, and I put 2 drops of lavender, 2 drops of this, 2 drops of that. This can you want some oil? Here. To help their bodies get better. And before I started doing this, when they would get sick or colds, because we live in Utah, so I go to the gym every day, so they go to daycare, and they're always exposed to other kids, and they get what other kids get sometimes. And so when I wasn't using these oils, oh my goodness, like waking up all night, coughing, just couldn't breathe. It was so sad. I didn't know what to do because I didn't want to give them medicine. So I would just feed them, you know, like soups and fruit and stuff that was super healing and non-mucus forming. And then I started using oils on the bottom. I put it on the bottom of their feet. I put that in behind their ear, on their neck, a little bit on their chest, and then on their clothes too, right there for when they're sleeping, sometimes on their temples. Oh my gosh, it changed everything. They were sick for like not very long at all, and it was very manageable. They could breathe, they could play all day, and they were fine. They weren't crying. It's just, oh, so amazing. So this concoction is like lavender, peppermint, breathe, thyme, oregano oil. I just got a bunch of different ones, to be honest with you. They had croup, so that's what I was using. But you can look into the uses of oils and stuff and just kind of mix them all up. That's what I do. Make it as strong as possible. But the brand of essential oils I want to recommend. Hold on. Would be, so this was at my, in Santa Monica, I go to this crystal store. It's like kind of near the beach. I don't remember what it's called, but I think it's right next to Real Food Daily. And they carry this brand. And I was like, oh, you guys have that brand. My Sprouts right near me has this brand. And they're like, yeah, well, we only carry the purest oils. And I was like, really? How do you guys know? And they're like, we've done a lot of research. Da, da, da. And just because it was one of my favorite stores, I was like, okay, yeah, I like that. And I had been looking for the best brand myself. So I would recommend this. I like this brand. And it says tested and verified for purity. Yeah, it's Ara Acacia. I don't know, Ara Acacia, the organic kind. I do have some doTERRAs as well. I hear they're not as pure just because they do use like synthetic chemical components so that they're the exact same every single time. If you notice, like when you smell doTERRAs, they're always the same. With other brands, it kind of varies a little bit. And after you have it a while, it's just kind of, you know, definitely this lavender does not smell like doTERRA's lavender. It's much more fluorescent. I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, I like this brand. I would definitely recommend this brand. And I'll type it in. Ara Acacia. They use not capitalized. But the reason why I have doTERRA. What, baby? You want me to fix it? Right there. The reason why I have doTERRA is because I had a friend going through divorce, and she needed help money-wise. So I just went that way just to help her, even though I really wanted the other brand. But it is what it is. So I went through them pretty fast, and I do use a diffuser as well. I got it. I'd highly recommend it, just because it's so, like, what, they're like $40 or something. You put water in it and you put a bunch of oils. So not only does your house smell amazing, you don't have to use the chemical crap candles, but you're also getting that infused through your skin and through your lungs. What, baby? Okay. And it's benefiting you through the air as well. So that's pretty cool. And when the kids are sick, I do like peppermint and lavender and what else? Like eucalyptus, and it helps with the breathing, and if they have colds and coughs, it's just so amazing. Another thing that you can use too on yourself, which I just went through a migraine yesterday. I have not had a migraine in so long, but the day before I got really, really, really stressed out and didn't drink enough water. I allowed myself to get really stressed out over a YouTube situation. They're not, they haven't been paying me on my highest videos. I don't know what's going on. I'm figuring it out. But anyways, I got a migraine, and you use lavender and peppermint behind your ears, wherever the headache is, a ton of peppermint. It helps, you know, release all the heat. There's a pressure point on the top of your head right here where you can push. It feels kind of like a knob. It's like in the middle. It releases. And then behind your neck, you can put the peppermint oil. And then also on top of a lot of water and lemon water, you can use, what is it? I was using binaural beats. You go on YouTube and you search binaural beats, for headaches, and it's just like, it was amazing. I laid in bed for a few hours just listening to beats. Ironically, my children left me alone, which never happened, but I was super, super blessed for that. So let me look, spot on the brother. Are there any questions I missed? Okay, do you guys have any more questions? My next topics that I want to talk about a lot are on birthing. I'm going to probably do that on my next days to talk, but women birthing naturally and alone. No midwife, no doctors, because I believe and I know that we know more than anyone could ever know what's going on with our bodies and our babies, especially at the time of birth. So that's really exciting. I love you guys. Thanks for tuning in. And any more questions? Let's go. Let's go. Awesome. All right. Thank you, Laura. Thank you, everybody. And post your questions if you have any. And if you have any friends that are having babies or breastfeeding or birthing, a big one to share with friends is to watch The Business in Being Born and Birth as We Know It. I'll type that in. Those documentaries are very eye-opening, and yeah, thanks. I love you guys. Bye. Thank you.